My name is Victoria Shi. I'm a co-founder and executive director of Taiwan Alliance to Promote Civil Partnership Rights. Yeah. And I was also the lead lawyer in marriage equality case that the Taiwan's Constitutional Court ruled in favor of last year. I mean, in May 2017. Yeah.
我就从小是在台湾出生长大，我叫齐家威，算是蛮幸运的成长，所以自己没有遭到很多对于同志的角色的身份有所被霸凌的一个经验，所以我对于好像争取婚姻人权的事情，觉得应该是对我来说是可以胜任的一个工作，所以我就很早就开始，也30多年到现在。
A brief history of marriage equality movement in Taiwan can be dated back to 1986, which my client Qi Jiawei has petitioned to Legislative Yuan to ask the government to legalize gay marriage, but he was bluntly rejected and insulted. Yeah, and then he brought lawsuits against the government in 1998, and but all the cases were rejected too. Yeah, so until 2014, he once again wanted to challenge the law, and he appointed me to be his lawyer. And this was the first time that he, in his long history, to in this battle to have a lawyer accompany with him. And this time we won. Yeah. In 2017, yeah.
当然，大法官会议呢，我们做了78号的解释，就是已经宣告说，同志的结婚的权利，那是宪法上所保障的基本的人权，而且呢，在立法的时候呢，要注意到所谓的这个平等的这个权利。那因为呢，就是宗教团体再加上家长团体的一个极力的反对，所以造成这样的一个议题呢，在立法院没有办法通过。所以呢，也因为这样的一个延宕，造成我们刚好遇到我们的我们的公投法的修改，把这个门槛降低。因此呢，在这一次我们举办等于是全面门槛降低之后的第一次公投。
站在宗教立场，他们是很积极的在做一些反对的努力啦。可能他们还不能太能够接受这种潮流时代的一个转变，因为在1974年之后，专业的精神心理医学都认为同性的性倾向不是异常变态。那这样子的事情，在非关宗教的已经普遍的慢慢都能够接受，只是在宗教立场上，他们很难的去改变这个观念。所以目前来讲的话，年轻人他们在挺婚姻平权的立场是超过80%，那只是在年长的人的那个调查是还只有30% 左右。那可是随着时代的慢慢转变，年老人会慢慢离开人世，离开世界，所以在婚姻平权的这个议题上面来讲的话，是应该是越来越好，越可以达到理想。
My name is Ranmei Ying, and I work in Taiwan Tongzhi Hotline Association. Tongzhi means LGBT in Chinese. So my responsibility here is relating to fundraising, collaboration, and LGBT teenagers issues. So Hotline is founded in 1998, and it is the first registration organization in Taiwan, and it's the oldest one in Taiwan. Then now we start with the telephone consultation services, and now we have three major works. One is community service. We still have a telephone consultation, but we also provide a different kind of supporting groups for like transgender parents and teenager, etc. And the second is we provide gender education. We will go to the school, community, company, government to tell them what is gender diversity, what is LGBT, to share our stories. And the third one is advocate. We are advocate for gender-related issues such as marriage equality. Yeah.
I'm Silas Wong, and from Hong Kong. And I have been a minister for more than 20 years in traditional churches in Hong Kong. And because of the different viewpoint in the gay issue, and I left the original church and in 2005. And from then on, I stepped into the gay community, especially to contact with those Christian gay people or the outsiders. Hong Kong Church have been set up by a female pastor, Yang Yao Wei, and in 1996, and it mainly gathered the gay people or gay Christians from the University of Taiwan at that time, because they have no church. I mean, they attend some churches, but it's just a traditional one, and they may be not accepted by the church or underground. They not come out yet. So they gathered together and participate in that fellowship, and then Tong Guang. And originally maybe they not quite participate or no participation in the original churches, but now they can more freely and enjoy the fellowship and church life in Tong Guang.
Yes, I'm Taiwan's digital minister. I'm Audrey Tang, and in charge of social innovation, youth empowerment, and open government.
Excellent. And can you outline some of your opinions around same-sex marriage in the country, which is the current debate at the moment?
Well, it's not under debate because the Constitutional Court already said that marriage equality is constitutionally protected. And in its landmark interpretation, it says the legislation needs to take at most 2 years to make marriage equality happen. I think it's now a few months now before that needs to happen. And so, yeah, at the moment, people generally agree that marriage equality is part of our constitutional protection. And the issue now is mostly how to implement that in the civic code itself.
会关心 LGBT 的这个议题呢，其实最主要是从妇女运动过来，因为台湾长期在戒严统治时期，所以妇女的这个地位呢，其实是非常的低落。那因为自己本身从事妇女运动30年，在这妇女运动的过程里面，其实有许多的女性的同志参与其间。那我们也看到同志在这整个一个权利那受到迫害的这个情况，所以呢，我们也就是当妇女的权益这个得到保障的时候，那对于同志的议题，当然更弱势的这些同志呢，我们当然这是属于人权的议题，所以我们应该保障。那刚好有遇到这个全球化的同志婚姻合法化的这样的一个运动，所以呢，台湾很高兴能够恭逢其盛，所以呢，也在立法院就提出了这个同志婚姻合法化的这样的一个法案。那现在非常遗憾，这个到目前虽然大法官会对做了解释，但是立法还没有通过，所以我们还继续努力中。
Okay, basically, since our constitutional court has ruled in favor of marriage equality, so even the government said that they will follow the decision. Yeah, but that's in theory. I mean, the 3 anti-gay referendums, they might use kind of, they are very rich. So they will buy the advertisements and spread all kinds of disinformation to create kind of a fear and, hostile to make this society hostile towards LGBT community. So this is the part that we have to face. I mean, this is a real challenge because in generally you may say that Taiwanese people are friendly to LGBT, but basically they don't know much about what LGBT are really like. Yeah. So in a sense, this is a crisis, but this is also a great timing for us to strengthen the knowledge and to gain more support from a general public.
所以呢，在这个同志的这个，他们虽然也提出了这个就是希望能够依照民法的规定通过这个同志婚姻的一个保障的这样的公投议案，但是他们毕竟是一个少数，而且在过去同志团体他们所面对的是政府要求政府去立法，政府去各种政策的保障，所以呢，对其他的社会的动员跟社会的对话其实是比较少的。因此在这次提起公投的时候，对于同志团体而言，一个是有组织的宗教团体跟家长团体，那另外一个是比较弱势的同志团体，所以在这样情况之下呢，对同志的团体的影响其实冲击是蛮大的。但是呢，从另一个层面呢，对同志也面临到这样的一个困境，尤其呢，我们看到同志的议题在台湾，它不是一个蓝绿就是政党的一个对立的一个议题，它其实是一个世代的一个差异的一个议题。那老一辈的大部分都反同，那年轻人几乎都是赞成这个同志的这个议题。所以呢，面对这样的一个世代差异，那因为世代的差异，世代所使用的这个传播的工具，像说年轻人用 FB， 这个这个年长者用 LINE， 那这两个不同的同温层各自去散布各自的讯息，所以呢，如何能够冲破同温层，去跟不同的世代对话，这形成对同志是一个非常大的一个挑战。
Yeah, the thing is that both sexuality difference and gender difference translate into Mandarin as 性别. So that again creates the issue, right? And there's a good friend of mine, also a colleague at PETUS, because if you know the kanji characters, the traditional Chinese characters, 性别, right? The word 性 is written with a radical of heart and a component of body or life. And so basically it's the heart part of gender and the body part of sexuality, and it's merged into the same word in 性别. So it could translate as either sexuality difference or gender difference. And so that's where the referendum is trying to do. There's some people who say, 性别 should mean only the right radical, which is 生别, right? There's people who saying, 性别 should mean the left radical, which is 心别, right? And all of this is because, in Mandarin, we're using the same word for two words in English.
We think because we have the constitutional ruling about the marriage equality, so no matter what, we will get something next year. But for the gender education, there's nothing to protect. Even we have the Gender Equity Education Act, but it's basically tell school like you need to provide a gender education, but they don't define what is gender education. It means you don't need to tell about LGBT. You can also only talk about maybe boy and the girl. It's also gender education. So for us, the gender education is facing more severe situation, and we already have the impact right now. Like for example, in 2015, Hotline can go to the campus like over 500 lectures in the campus, but like this year we only have less than 200 lectures. So we already feel like the school stop to talk about LGBT because it's kind of the conflicts issues, and like Taiwanese hate that, so they stop to provide gender education about LGBT.
Okay, my English name is Georgia, and the surname is kind of usually people call me Guo Mama, like Mother Guo. So my husband's surname is Guo, so I'm also a little bit famous for that. And I start to deal with my son when she was a girl. Well, it's a long time ago. Now he's 32, and he's a trans child from female to male. So it's a long time for me. Almost after 3 years, I start meeting all those LGBTQ groups and start working with them, because from day one, I found that a lot of parents of LGBTQ and people themselves really need help like myself. So I think it's a long time, but I enjoy every minute of it, and I'm glad I can help in this area and for the community.
I would say that the anti-gay groups, they also wanted to question the legitimacy of the existence of LGBT people, and they also want to to ban on the LGBT education in elementary and junior high school, which means that they don't want our children to learn the knowledge about LGBT, and which will provoke the bullying in schools, and also the LGBT children, when they are in the process of growing up for self-exploring, they will need such kind of support and correct informations for their sexual identity. Yeah.
当然，因为在他们主张的性平教育是要年满18岁才能去告诉受教育的人知道有同性恋存在这个世界上。那可是事实上来讲的话，从小幼稚园开始就有些人的性格倾向、行为举止是不是很阳刚的男生，不是很柔的女生啊，就是很 man 的女生，很柔的男生的情况下，他们就容易在同侪环境、受教育的环境、学校里面会被霸凌，会被欺负，会被排挤。如果性平教育要这样子的处理的话，是非常非常不应该。那应该是从幼稚园开始就教育有多元化的人、多元化的社会。如果说你今天让一个同性恋小孩在学校环境被霸凌到18岁以上，那些霸凌他的人才会知道说他不应该做这样错误的事情的话，你让他去后悔到去自杀吗？
Yeah, and actually, I think the same-sex marriage is a reflection of a generational gap. You can see, like for young people, they are more acceptance and more open-minded about gender issues like same-sex marriage, and because they know about what is LGBT. We think it's very important. We have a very good gender education. Since 2004, yeah, we have the Gender Equity Educational Act since that. So the young generation, basically, they all know about the idea about LGBT, and that helps. Yeah, so we think it's a big gap, the generational gap, but we also see it as a chance to communicate with elder, because now we have the referendum, and it's kind of very hard moment for all the LGBT, but it could be a chance for those who doesn't know about LGBT to know about these issues. Yeah.
I think LGBTI group should be having more confidence on themselves, as well as their parents and family members, we should come out more to the friends and relatives and speak out loud. You know, my child is trans, or my child is a gay or lesbian. We're proud of them. You know, we should hear it more. Not just the community, the whole society should learn it more, and really we are proud of ourselves.
I believe there exist hundreds of rainbow families in Taiwan, hundreds or thousands. Yeah, we don't have accurate data because our government don't have this kind of data regarding LGBT families. Yeah, and in this regard, TAP-CPR has repeatedly asked our government to do this kind of survey. Yeah, to better evaluate. The need and the need for the LGBT community, and there are more and more gay couples, LGBT couples have children through surrogacy or artificial insemination, yeah, or some of them through adoption, yeah. But it's rare because in Taiwan, the homosexual couples couldn't co-adopt a child. They can only adopt in a single parent status. Yeah. So I believe that according to the view of the anti-gay groups, they believe that only a union of a male and a female can be the most appropriate parents for the children, and they claim that for the best interest of children, the government shouldn't allow the gay couples to adopt child. But we know that this is against all kinds of scientific research. Yeah, so we have to. We have to create more opportunities for social dialogue and spread, the accurate and the true stories about these rainbow families to the general public.
I think Taiwan is consisted of mainly Chinese, and with traditional culture in nature. So they came across the event about 18 years ago because of a teenager called Residency. Is an effeminate teen, and he was discriminated and put to death in the toilet of his school. And from that time on, because of Residency's death, Taiwanese will make more concern, have more concern on the LGBT issue. And so, the education equality, and all kinds of literature and artist circles, they will put much more attention to promote or to educate people, let people know we need to concern the minority, especially in this case. It's very stimulating to Taiwanese. So the anti-friendly atmosphere, is created through more than 18 years, through such a long period of time, and to promote, create such a friendly atmosphere. So Tong Guang Church, in fact, witnesses these changes because we participate in different, like Gay Pride Parade, like the struggling and fighting for the equality process, Tong Guang from the start, because we are over 16 years. Even the Gay Pride Parade, just 16 years until this October. So every Gay Pride Parade we attended, every important issue, Tong Guang participated and witnesses the change of Taiwan.
I think the change is hard to be how to be seen like clearly, but when we go to a school, you can really feel the change. Like the maybe 10 years ago when we were in the campus and in the class, we will ask how many LGBT you know in your life. There's maybe less than 10 people will raise their hand. But now, some maybe like 10 or 20 kids, they will raise their hand, say, oh, I know some LGBT people, and even someone will just come out as LGBT. So that's one thing. And the second is you can still see like the media and the drama movie and books, they start to have the character of the LGBT, and it's a positive one. So you can see how the you can see the difference from this, but it's very little by little. It's not like just pooh and just disappear. It's just show up. It's like you need to see from a long time period, then you can feel the difference.
Yeah, actually in 2013, our organization TAPCPR has sent our Bill of Marriage Equality into our parliament. At that time, we have conducted a public survey, and we surprisingly found that in the past 10 years, I mean back then in 2013, more than 25% of Taiwanese has changed their minds. I mean, they were against marriage equality back then, 10 years ago, but in 2013 they supported gay marriage. And when we asked them the reasons why they changed their opinions, the two major reasons are they believe that homosexuals should enjoy equal rights. That would be one of the major reasons. And the second is that they believe everyone should have freedom of choice and freedom to love. So basically, it's because of the value of freedom, liberty, and also equality. Yeah, and if we compare the time phase, I mean, we can trace back this change. I think it's relevant to the implementation of Gender Equity Education Act, which is enacted in 2004, and which was also correspondent to the gay parade. The first gay parade was held in Taipei in 2003. So in the 10 years, I mean, from 2003 to 2013, the year that we have conducted the public survey, people changed a lot. Yeah. So the laws and regulations and also the visibility of LGBT community help people to have better understanding of the situation of LGBT and increase their will to support LGBT's equal rights.
其实，我们中国有一句古话叫"君子自重，人恒重之"，所以还是要 LGBT 族群自己认同不认同自己，尊重不尊重自己。如果说今天让毒品在轰趴里面泛滥，你要如何社会来尊重你这个族群？所以首要的我觉得还是 LGBT 族群自己是不是把自己的工作本分尽到，努力，然后生活也能够就是健康平安啊，社会大众才可以慢慢的去认知，同志族群不是一个异常的一个族群啊。那所以我觉得中国那句古话"君子自重，人恒重之"是 LGBT 必须要时时刻刻来想来提醒自己的。
好，谢谢。